Good evening, all you long distance motorcycle riders and moto campers. Still haven't camped, and roadside America attraction people. It's like Road Hogger here. It's September 26th. I haven't posted a video in quite a while. Maybe I'll catch up and then fill in the blanks with some of the videos I've taken before. But there's been some things along the road where not all the videos were able to be posted. Um, let's see, do a recap. Teresa and Rick, shout out there in Portland, Tennessee. Stayed with them one night, had a great taco supper, great room, had a TV in there. Uh, the entrance to their house was a gravel driveway at a steep pitch, and after I got up the driveway without dropping the bike, which was uh, a challenge for me, but maybe it's because of my moto skills have been increasing over my age or whatever. I managed to get up it, which was pretty interesting. They said you have to swerve into the oncoming lane and then go up straight. And I went up on a turn, and it was like, oh, that was a heart thumper. Let me put it that way. But they're a great couple, and I was actually going to camp out in their backyard because they had a really nice backyard and all. Then Rick tells me, he goes, well, we have a skunk problem, and the dog got sprayed here recently. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, uh, if I was camping there in the night and some skunk decided to get a little feisty and hit me and my gear, it's like, I don't know. I could tomato juice myself, but I don't know. I'd have to abandon my gear, so I was like, I'll just stay inside. It's cool. It's okay. So we had a taco supper and great conversation. And unfortunately, it was during the week, so he was still working, so he had to go to work in the morning. And Teresa's retired. Very gracious hosts both. I can't say enough good about them. And it's repetitious for all B&B hosts, but yeah, they're great people. And so I motored up the road, and I was going to do a few roadside attractions going through Kentucky. There was like Dino World up by Mammoth Cave exits and stuff and all that. And it's like, the weather was a little sketchy, and it was really hilly and steep, and I don't want to sound like a wussy boy, but riding my ultra classic bagger with all my gear on it and stuff. It's like some of these places you go to, they're like the approach is all gravel, it's undeveloped or whatever, and I was like, I just want to take a chance, so I just motored on through, and I ended up with another BAB host in Scottsburg, Indiana. Or Richard, what a guy! He's so good. I mean, I can't say enough good about him either. Not to sound repetitious, but I got there. I was like a day ahead of schedule because I didn't do as many retractions and camp out or do all the things that I was planning on doing, which is kind of weird because when you get to my age, it's like why plan? It's like when you were like working and you have to have everything was on a schedule and stuff, and it's like I really don't have a schedule anymore. But sometimes weather dictates what you're doing on the motorcycle, So I was like he let me stay like an extra night, and it was actually pretty good because the next day we went on like a 90-mile ride. We went to the Henryville State Park, which is the oldest in Indiana. It's like a 1903. Went up to this lookout point, and you could see the town of or the city of Louisville kind of through the haze. There was like the tall buildings were barely visible, but it was like, it's right here. And I think I posted some pictures on that. And when we were up there at that highest point, there was a guy who was a ham operator. He was getting ready to string up some antenna to talk to other ham guys. And it's like, so we had a little conversation with him. That was pretty interesting. Luckily, there was like a lot of up and down, hilly, twisty type things going through the park, but they were all developed roads. So it was all said and good. And then we went to Clarksville and there the Clarksville State Park, and that was pretty good. There was supposed to be a gunpowder museum there, but Richard was saying, and evidently they tore it down, so there was really nothing to look at. But there was some we were by the it was supposed to be by the DNR shed, and some guys came out because we were walking through there, and the gate said like, no cars, no admittance, but we just walked on in anyway. And some guys came out, and it turns out that Richard knew motorcycle groups that they were in. He knew their guys and all this stuff, so they had this like big conversation about the rides they went on and who they knew and who the president was and blah blah. It was like it was pretty cool. And then we went on to Madison and stopped along the way at this Smoking Crows barbecue place. They had some great barbecue. They do their own pit house barbecue in house. And then we went down to Madison and went around along the Ohio River where they have the regatta. And I took a picture of their like regatta headquarters, which is basically looked like a, I don't know, an ice cream shack or something like that. It was kind of funny, but there was under construction. They were doing a whole new construction thing for where the regatta was, and that was really interesting. It ended up being like a 90-mile road trip, and then when we got back, um, Richard was having a church potluck dinner that night with a service afterwards, and what an Iron Man that guy is. He made homemade from scratch breadsticks to take to the thing. We had stopped at a Save-A-Lot. There's a Save-A-Lot there. The Save-A-Lot in St. Augustine closed down last year, and I ended up buying a whole bunch of stuff there. And I never even knew it was there, but they had some pretty good prices and deals. It was like almost like an Aldi's. So he made the breadsticks, and we went to the potluck dinner, and oh my gosh, if you ever been to a church potluck dinner, oh my gosh, the food is just unbelievable. The fellowship, people were so friendly. It was a service afterwards. Uh, they were like singing. They had like a rock, not a rock. I don't know if you want to describe it as a rock band, but they had like a electric piano, drums, lead guitar, and bass guitar, and that kind of thing. And it was pretty fun. A little church and never hurt nobody, like I said. So, but the stories Richard had, man, what an Iron Man this guy is. He has a trailer that's converted into a camper, and he can put his bike in the back. He has an Indian, and this whole last summer he spent up in here, where I am now in Michigan, in the UP, working for a company that does kayak tours, and he was actually a tour guide. I don't mean I don't mean to be insulting or denigrate, but like at his age, like my age, this guy like can paddle like these 14-foot kayaks for 3 hours or something, riding herd on all these uh, tourists that are doing the kayaking, which I guess he was saying is like most of them never probably been in a kayak before, and you know how tippy those things are. It's like you have to know how, like when you roll over, how you can like ride them up and stuff like that. And he's having to wrangle and wrestle all these people, and like he luckily I guess he said they didn't have too many of those tip over situations. So, but props to you, Richard. You are like the poster child for guys getting to be my age, because I don't think I could do that kind of thing. So yeah, it was 2 days there, and went up to Indianapolis. I was on time. I got to the Marriott, and I actually shot a blog out in the courtyard, but families started showing up, and their kids were all running around screaming and yelling. They had a fountain there. You can't get in the fountain, and they didn't actually, but they were all screaming and yelling. I like, can I put this on on YouTube, because like I have to blur out their faces, but for the most part, they're all, their back of their heads were to me, but they were screaming around. I may like cut that in or something. I'm gonna see if I can cut that in and show that, because it is actually pretty dang funny. And I actually had people that came through the breezeway doorway says, "Are you shooting a TikTok video?" And I go, "Oh no, just my YouTube channel." They go, "Oh cool, man, how cool you're doing that." It's like, oh my gosh, it's like the social media thing and people posting shorts, and I'm running 9 minutes right now on this video, so it's like it's not a short. But the uh, the mixer on Friday was it was so good, but it was so bad at the same time, because like 50 years later, I can't put the names with the current faces. I needed like name badges or whatever, but it was pretty good. I mean, we ate, we drank, we had like a little bit of reminiscing going on and stuff. It was all really kind of good. And then I'm the next day I migrated to another hotel that was in between where the dinner was going to be and the picnic on Sunday. So the dinner was actually really good. They had actually had name badges with your picture from your yearbook, high school. So I don't know that it actually helped me that much, but there wasn't. I don't know. There was mingling going on, and I actually met quite a few people that I knew from high school and hung out with. I met uh, two guys, Bill Breeden and Charlie Wellholter. I mean, that was pretty cool because, like my freshman year, they lived on the other side of Alsace on 38th Street, and I lived on the other side, and we got to know each other because we had to stand at the corner for the city. The city buses picked us up to take us to the high school, and it was only 10 cents then. And in the wintertime, you're out there at Oh Dark 100 and stuff. And Bill was like, he would like the day before, he says, my mom says it's okay. Come down to my house a little bit early and we'll have breakfast. And Bill's mom would make like pancakes and eggs or bacon, sausage. I mean, we'd have to hump back down to the corner to wait for the bus, but at least our bellies would be full of warm food and stuff. So God bless that woman. I mean, I think she's long since passed, but she was very kind. I don't know why my mom didn't fix breakfast and stuff, but I actually lived further down the block than they did, so that was pretty funny. We had a lot of reminiscing, and there's a little bit of friending going on Facebook now. I mean, even with Bill's sister Cindy, and so I don't remember her. It's like she was almost hanging in the background. It was almost like the Harry Potter thing where the redhead, the sister of the was it not the Dursleys, but you know what I'm saying? It's like she was hanging in the background, it's like looking at us and stuff. So it's kind of funny because like I friended her and she goes, "You friended me? Do you know who I am?" And I go, not really, but we're like friends with Bill and Charlie." She goes, "I'm Bill's sister." I go, "Oh yeah." I said, "We all look so different now." So anyway, that was kind of funny. And then I took an Uber over there because I knew there was going to be drinking, and because I'm not riding the bike and drinking and stuff. So I was going to take an Uber back, but shout out and props and thanks to you, Dave Buttram. I don't even want to know. I shouldn't even say, but your nickname in high school was Chunky because, and he offered to give me a ride back to the hotel because it was like right there at the I-69 exchange. I was already close to that, so he was headed that way anyway. And what an Iron Man he was because I'm not too sure. I don't remember where he lived, but he said it was an hour and a half drive. So he's local, but not local, So, and yeah, I don't think he was really drinking because like the place was at the an old KSC Knights of Columbus that's converted into the Northside Events and Social Club now, and it's kind of funny. They have a game room and the bar area. I don't know if it's open to public or KNC people, but they serve food to the people that are there, and it was kind of funny. The at the bar, it's like if you wanted to run a tab on your credit card, there was a 3.99% service charge, but if you wanted to pay cash, no service charge, of course, but wow, it's like a shot of beam with in a tall glass with a lot of ice and a little splash of water. But it was $8, and so you hand the girl a 10, and it's like you don't want to seem like the old people cheapskate, so I just like keep the change, and she was like appreciative of that. I mean, $8 would be $1.60, so there's like you round up, and it was more than 20%. So what can you say, right? You spreading goodwill and cheer, right? So, and then the next day was the picnic at Fort Harrison Park. It's like being a BSA orienteering counselor, I am so directionally challenged right now. I actually had to use Google Maps. There was no Fort Harrison Park State Park back in the day when I was there. It was always Fort Harrison. It was a military base, and I guess they still do the accounting there or something, but it's like very minimal now. There's no guard checkpoint and all that kind of jazz like they had back in the day. Uh, to find my way to the park, and then in the park to find the cherry tree pavilion where they were actually having the thing. And there wasn't that many people that actually showed up for that one, but me, Charlie, and Gary Dagler, and there was quite a few other people that I knew that were there and stuff. They did fire up a charcoal grill. I stopped at a Kroger's and picked up a package of Nathan hot dogs, some buns, and some chips, so I didn't wasn't like a piker, but to show up and sponge off of other people's foods and stuff. So I actually ended up sharing that because I told people, you want a hot? I'm only going to have 2 out of these 8. So anybody wants a hot dog, help yourself because I'm staying in a hotel. There's no leftovers. I'm not taking anything with me. Anything else is going to be going in the trash, or you can take it home. That's So that was kind of funny. So the hotel, I actually the weather was like getting really iffy, and I was supposed to be there one more day because I was going to travel around town and see some places from the past. And I actually did that on what was it, on was it Friday? There was one day I went back to the company that I worked for 15 years on the north side by the airport, which I knew is Weir Cook, but now it's Indianapolis International. So, and I I don't know, it'll be repetitious. I may post that one because I actually went onto the property and I went into the front office, and the girl says, "Can we help you?" And I said, "Well, I worked here like 40 years, 44 years ago." And I said, "I'm back here for 50th high school reunion. I was wondering if I could like take a short video like out front just showing the building, talking about the history of me being working here." And she goes, "Oh, let me go talk to the manager." And she comes back about 15 minutes later. She goes, "The manager appreciates your asking, but no." It was like, we really don't. And the place is like one of those um, semi truck towing, crushing tow yards now. They got like smashed cars in the back and all, and I could probably understand why they didn't want anybody shooting on their property and stuff. But so I did shoot a short video on the other side of the gate, but you can't see the building because they had these semi-sized tow trucks right there, and it was blocking the view and all. So, but I thought that was kind of interesting, and maybe it was kind of ballsy to go in there and ask to shoot a video on their property. Who knows what they got going on? Could be some sort of like environmental thing or something. Who knows? But it didn't matter. I just wanted to shoot the corner of the building with the entrance, which was the main entrance of the thing, and then right down was where the the engineering offices where I worked at was the window, and I was like, man, I would have liked to have seen what that place looks like now. They probably got nothing but like valuable parts from old Mustangs and Chevy Novas and God knows what sitting in there waiting to be sold. It's like, I don't know if it's like a junkyard or what, but golly, it was definitely like a automotive getting ready to ship out recycling stuff. So, but yeah, I got back to the hotel and the Marriott, and it was actually, I had a good time there. It turns out that Jeff, shout out Jeff, the office, the front desk manager guy, he also does the shoe shining for people. And it's like, you got business people coming in with their foursomes. Okay, you're right. But I asked him, I said, "Can you do my harness boots?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, just I go, "Do you prefer them on or off the feet?" And he goes, "It doesn't matter." And I go, "Well, I'm over here for the mixer and stuff, so I can just drop them off my feet." And he goes, "Yeah, that's what I do." And I go, "What is there a fee for that?" And he goes, "No, whatever you feel like giving me for it." And I go, "Really?" I go, "Hmm." So it was funny. It's like we went to the mixer, and the bar was there. So yeah, okay. So I got a little bit in there. So, but after the end, I come walking back, and Jeff was still there. He was there until like 11 o'clock at night. What an Iron Man! But he had the boots there, and oh my gosh, what a shine I had on my boots. And he even went under the leather straps across the top and the sides and stuff. It's like he pointed that out, and I go, "Oh, wow, you really did a good job." And so, you know what? I slipped him $40. It's like $20 a boot. And he was like, wow, I think that was the most he ever got. Maybe there's a lot of cheapskates out there or whatever, but you know what? You got to spread the goodwill and cheer, you know? I mean, I don't know how much money he's making there, but he was wearing a nice suit, and I posted a picture there, but he did it, gosh, a darn good job on my boots. I was like, I'm almost afraid to wear them on my motorcycle. They're so nice and shiny looking. So anyway, So yeah, I migrated then over to the Clarion Point over in Castleton, which was between the two, and it was like I was actually kind of surprised because it turned out to be like a Patel hotel, but they were like really nice and the rooms were really clean. And I checked into the first room and it was they let me check in 2 hours early, which is very unusual for that kind of ownership hotel. And they had me on the second floor. I'd like to have had a first floor because of the bike and smoking. But they had it on the second floor. But I got in the room. The first thing I did was I shook hands with the man, took a leak, and the toilet didn't flush. It was kind of funny. So I had to go. I called down the front desk and I go, this toilet's not flushing, and I just got here. And they sent a guy up, and thank God he had a plastic bag over the plunger because I was afraid they were going to like dribble toilet liquids across the carpet. But that was like thoughtful. But he was in there for like maybe 10 minutes. I hear him squishing, 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 trying to clear that out. And he wasn't able to. So guess what? I had to change rooms. And where did they put me? One 137, which is on the first floor, and I actually got to park the bike like almost in front of my room and stuff. That was kind of funny, but very helpful. And the owner, he was like talking to me like a lot, and a lot of people are like were pretty impressed. Old guy riding his bike from St. Augustine, Florida, to Indianapolis for his 50th high school reunion, that kind of thing. Plus, the hat. I got so many compliments from, I mean, everyone everywhere about the hat. It was so, I have to like, why are you here? I was like, oh, 50th high school reunion. What's with the hat? It's like, a little style thing I picked up back in the day. Not actually too far in the day. It's like a little eccentric, but you know what? I've never been kind of a ball cap kind of guy, and not even like a Stetson kind of guy. I'm like a different kind of hat a guy. So because I have like a British Army pith helmet. I have a Viking horned helmet with real like bull horns on it. It's like not a party time shop hat. So that was kind of that was kind of interesting. I made a lot of friends at the Marriott because of they were having 4 conventions there, and it's like, oh, what a madhouse. They had 4 conventions, a crap load of people. They only had one bartender and they only had one server for the floor at the Skyline Bistro, and it was like murder because most of them were like really old people, and some old people can be very cantankerous or whatever, about service and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I was probably a little bit more generous than I should have been with some of the staff there, but watching as an outsider all that going down, it was like kind of painful at times. And I actually mentioned it to Jeff and the other people when I checked out. I was like, I wanted you to know that your staff maintain their professionality and calm in the face of a hurricane of these people coming in here, for this stuff, wanting this, that, and the other, and they wanted it like almost now. I'm retired. I don't need stuff like right now. It's like, you know what? You want? I have to wait 15 minutes, half hour. I don't care. I don't let stuff like that empower itself over me to make me feel bad. I'm just enjoying everything that I'm doing right now, believe me, I am. So anyway, I ran up here to Michigan like almost straight through 287 miles. I stopped in Fort Wayne Harley Davidson dealership because my other gloves were packed in the trunk, and there was no way I was going to get to it with all the stuff stacked on top of it. And I was wearing how stupid mesh gloves, and the temperatures have been in the 60s to high 50s, and it was all overcast, and my hands were like frozen. So I bought a pair of winter gloves at the Harley Davidson dealership, and I had never been there before, so I got the obligatory shot glass. And Harley Davidson, $100. Yeah, they got me. They got me good. But you know what? these are great gloves. My hands were so much warmer when I was going down the road. The only problem was the they're leather, but they're waterproof, and so they have a wiper on the finger, so you can wipe across your visor when it's raining, which actually came in handy. But the wiper blade thing was it was so close that on my Harley there's a button that you hit on the right on the top of the handlebar that rotates between your real Odo miles, your miles to refuel, your A Odo, your B Odo. Is there another one? Maybe not. But anyway, I was running my A Odo for fuel stops because I matched that to the miles to make sure I don't run out of fuel because I don't trust the little light coming on and stuff like that. So I know about how much miles the bike can go on a tank and, like pull over, get gas. But my B Odo was supposed to be my overall for this trip. Well, I pulled over for fuel at a Love truck stop and stuff, and I'm rolling through the thing, and I noticed that the Biodo had reset. And the last time I looked at it, it was like 1597. And I wasn't even at my sister's, which is a 287, 300 miles from Indianapolis where I was. So I was like, seriously, no. But actually, on this trip, since I looked at it when I left, it was 1597. You had another, like, say, 300. You're looking at 1800 miles. Supposedly, from St. Augustine to where I was going to go at the Marriott was 980. Had 90 miles on for that run around with the Richard, and there was some other miscellaneous state roads that I was running on and stuff, And so, it's like I'm looking at, like, to my sister's here in Michigan. It's probably about 1800 miles, I'm thinking. So, it's been a good trip. I mean, when I got up going up here to here, it was like the reason I was like ripping it straight through, which I normally try not to do because I had five, five roadside attractions that I want to hit on the way up. But I ran into rain. I actually had to put my rain gear on, and that was like, it was like the nasty rain, the misty to like actual rain, which is like bad because I'd rather have actual rain because that washes the oil off that center strip of the road and stuff. But the misty rain, man, that can be a real slicky thing. So, yeah, I was on the interstate and I was in the slow lane and doing like 10 under the limit. And when it would like not rain and you see the road and it was like clear, I like could crank it back up again. But I had a lot of people like passing me up and stuff. But hey, my beard was flipping in the wind. I'm this old guy riding the bike. I'm packed like with everything but the kitchen sink, it looks like, on the back with the camping gear and stuff like that. So they're like slowing down. They're like looking at me like I'm crazy. And I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm living large, baby. It's like, you know what? I haven't worked a day in 3 years. I'm on Social Security now. I can do whatever I want. I got some great kids. I just can't say enough. It's like I'm living the life. I'm not living the vagabond life. I'd really like to do that, but I don't know if I'm actually structured to live like that, where you go out somewhere and you don't know where the hell you're going. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't. I've tried to embrace that, but I've worked so many years in the engineering field, the IT field, and all that. It's like I don't know that I can actually put that foot out into the unknown. And they say it's like not everybody can do it. Like take a month or take a week and try to do that, and it's like I don't know. I have to make it my way back, and like, you know what? You can tell it's overcast. It's been raining. I don't know how long I can like impose on my sister, but she said, and I gotta head back, but I'm probably going to end up hot footing it back because evidently I got a text or a Facebook message from my son. He bought me a $15 ticket to go to the a Rocky Horror Picture thing on the 28th before Halloween, which Halloween is that my son Carrie and my son Craig and his wife Carrie's wedding anniversary. I think it's going to be 18 years now. Could be 18, was 17. I know it's a long time, But they had a Halloween motif wedding, which was pretty cool. It's like Jack and the princess, the bride thing. It's like, oh my god, it was so funny. And yeah, I was trying to stay out longer, maybe into the first week or so of November and get back, but it's cold and rainy up here. I mean, really cold and rainy. And for a Florida boy, it's like getting to my bones and stuff. So I'm probably going to end up hot footing it back there somehow or another. There's a couple of things I want to do on my way back. That's a reminiscence of the day. I'll post a I'll post a blog on that. So if it happens, and I'm hoping it happens, and if the good Lord willings and the creek don't rise, I'm gonna make it happen because I'm on that bike and I got my gear and it's like I want to do it like I want to do it, and we'll see. But on that note, this is Roadhogger saying good night and God bless. Eh, I hate this thing. It's like